Hello and welcome to Creative Wonder, the podcast where we talk shop, spill secrets, and occasionally pretend we have everything figured out. I'm your host, Tay Hislop, a photographer who helps marketers make their products, people, and services look so good they practically sell themselves. I've always been curious about how other creatives run their businesses, how they find clients, market themselves, and somehow turn ideas into actual income. So I made this podcast as an excuse to ask them all those questions. Each episode, I sit down with creative professionals to dig into their marketing strategies, how they use photography, and the real story behind how they got to where they are. The wins, the weird pivots, and the what am I even doing moments. And hey, if you're enjoying this show, it would mean a lot if you hit follow, leave a rating, or share it with someone who loves creative chaos as much as we do. All right, let's get into it. I'm just going to start off by saying hello and welcoming you to this episode. I'm so glad you could be here, Paul. I'm excited to talk to you about your company and your origin story and how you got to be where you are. And I got lots of questions. So let's just start with your career path. How did you get to be where you are today?
Yeah. Well, very simply, I grew up on a dairy farm and I always thought I was going to be a farmer. And that path didn't take me there. So I ended up moving off the farm and got into contracting, actually, as a golf course general contractor. So that took me around North America. We did 90% of our work in the U.S. States at the time. Had a couple hundred employees, and it was quite a big operation. And it was just at a time when golf courses were expanding quite rapidly back in the late 1990s and into the early 2000s. So economics has a lot to do with golf courses, and that was a time of expansion in the U.S. So that was a lot of fun. I'd still be doing it today in many ways, except I was never home. I had a young family at home, and it wasn't something that I could see doing for the long run. So then I got into kind of agriculture. I joined a company from Manitoba, which was in agricultural facilities. So they had a partnership with Maple Leaf Foods. And we built hog, dairy, and poultry barns, some of the big facilities if you drive around southern Ontario. And really, Manitoba was on the leading edge of animal husbandry and some of the techniques and requirements that they had for Maple Leaf Foods. They integrated them down here in Ontario. So I did that for a number of years also. And then there was consolidation happening with that. And again, I was seeing all of southern Ontario, and I was still never home. So it didn't entirely solve my my dilemma of being close to being local. So I traveled so much. Actually, my neighbors used to call me part-time. So, hey, part-time, how are you doing? So that's how much I was away in a typical year. So. So then I ended up joining a local construction company, did that for a number of years, and then and really wanted to reach out on my own. And I had a partner that I met with. It was actually a friend of mine was a friend of his, and he just said, "Oh, you should call this guy." And there I met him on a Saturday at Kelsey's in Ancaster, and the rest is history, so to speak. And he's been a fantastic partner. For 15 years. Actually, August 11th is 15 years that we've been in business.
Wow, that's incredible. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's gone by pretty quickly. So
now, if you were starting out again, would you do anything differently? Like as far as starting your company?
You know what? We'd probably spend more time on structure. Sandro, which is San of Paulsan. That's how the name came about, and it's only 7 digits instead of being 15 or 20 digits in your tagline email address. But structure, strategic plan, and probably spend a bit more time on what our expectations and goals were. And we always had a feeling that things would happen fairly quickly. And in fact, one of the biggest challenges was actually having too much growth all at once. And it takes time to create that that culture in your business when you're starting it from scratch. So,
so when you are trying to get new clients, what kind of avenues are you looking into? What kind of ways are you drawing in new clients for your business?
it really boils down to relationships.
Mhm.
We don't advertise per se. We have kind of a website that's out of date, and we are updating that very shortly. We do spend a lot of time on our completed projects for pre-qualifications for making our next. If there's a bid that's coming out that you need to pre-qualify, we show our CVs and our experience in that type of work. Those are really the key points that we spend our time on. So,
Mhm.
but as far as retail facing advertising, we don't necessarily do that at all. We belong to a couple construction associations where, people can get to know us. And we really actually focus a lot on our trades and suppliers. They can see a lot of people and get the
Mhm.
word around pretty quickly. And we value those as partnerships with us. And it's very important to give them the tools and the good stories that they can tell others and tell
Mhm.
others and tell others. So
Are
that's
you
really our focus.
are you familiar with Cowick, like the women's construction group in Canada?
No, I must say I'm not.
Because I've been a part of that for a little bit, just meeting other construction people in order to do photography for them. But it's basically geared towards, women in construction and just
Yep,
so it's mostly women is what I'm saying. So yeah,
yep,
you probably wouldn't be at any of them, but
yep,
it's an unusual group and it's nice to get to know them. And they have a huge role that they play in different companies all over Canada. Um,
yep.
so that's cool. And also, I was wondering, are you involved with Epic Jobs that happens in Brantford, which is the trades like fair for students? Have you heard of that?
Um, I have heard of it. I've never attended myself, so it would
It's
be
really cool.
a good idea. I'm sure. I mean, there's always more that you can do,
Oh,
right?
there's
And
always
that's
more. You can't do
right. So,
everything. You can't do everything.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
it's a neat fair because they bring in so many different tradespeople and different
yeah,
companies. They have all like, construction vehicles and things like that. You
yeah,
can try out. And then there's also like a lot of companies inside. Usually it's at the Gretzky, the Wayne Gretzky Sports Center, right? So
yeah,
they have all these different tradespeople that help you try out like different things. Like this is how
yeah,
you take a tire off a car, and this
yeah,
is how you bend, you know, things that make the gutters for a house, and this is how you.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's like so many different things. So I don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was hoping my
We,
boy would go there, but they didn't.
yeah,
School didn't go this
never
year.
say never. So, yeah. And we do co-op students through Mohawk College. We've done through the high school also, and I mean it's great to get young people because they are driving our next generation, and you gain some knowledge over the years, and you want to be able to pass that along. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, what are some of the toughest challenges you've had to deal with in some of your projects?
well, certainly, um, I never knew what a litigation lawyer was until I got into this business, and you'd like to think that you don't need to know that, but you really do, and I always treated people the way I would want to be treated, and which is naive. I understand that now in many ways, and you have to protect yourself and do what the contract says, and make sure that the other half of the party is going to honor their side of the contract. And it's we've been very fortunate for a number of years now, but knock on wood. But you have to really know who you're going into business with in a construction environment. There's
Mhm.
always challenges along the way, and it's who you're partnering with as far as the client, the consultants, the engineers, all that, and even the trades. You need to know that who you're working with. You have to be able to rely on and not get any worse than that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally get that. I know it's tricky. I've had good luck when it comes to clients. I haven't had too many that have been impossible to work with or give me a lot of grief, which is nice, or like late on payments or stuff like that, which
Yep.
is, really nice for me, but unusual probably that I've been so lucky. But
Yeah. Yeah.
let me get back to, you were talking about like submitting bids and proposals for some of
Yep.
your jobs that you're hoping to get. How do you go about differentiating yourself from other similar construction companies? Like, I know that's hard to say. I have the same problem with when I try and advertise myself. I'm like, I know I'm good at what I do and this is what I do, but like, how do I
Yeah.
say I'm different from other
Yeah.
photographers? But what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Well, none of us are ever very good at talking about ourselves, and I'm no exception to that. I know that we really like to understand what the client's needs are, and I think we take a lot of time in understanding their needs, what their budget is, how much space they actually need, and listening very contently. We need to really listen well to what their requirements are, and then try to formulate that in a plan that is cost effective, because dollars count on every moment along the way. And it's not just our dollars; it's their dollars. And we want them to stand as best a chance of success as possible, because the more successful they are, the more successful we are ultimately. So that's super important.
So if budget wasn't a constraint, what are some design features you might invest more in?
Well, certainly, there's a few things. Uh, Building efficiencies, building automation systems, HVAC, electrical components, all that sort of stuff has come a long ways in the past 10 years, and rightly so. We need to use less energy, whether it
Hmm.
be in manufacturing, building maintenance, heating and cooling. All those things really are very important for the client. It creates a better bottom line for their operating efficiencies. So that's where a lot of investment needs to and has been made over the past number of years.
Hmm. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot more about, what do they call it? Carbon neutral buildings? Is
Yep.
that the word I'm looking for?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's pretty
Yep.
awesome. Like, I would love to see more buildings like that. Obviously, our building is an old heritage home, so we don't have a lot of
Yeah. Yeah.
efficiencies.
Well, and
uh,
don't look at concrete, because concrete's probably one of the higher use products out there, and the carbon footprint isn't all that good for
oh
concrete.
no,
That's for
I had
sure.
no
No.
idea.
So
That's
yeah.
interesting. Okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. Um, if you could double your marketing budget, now I know you said you don't spend a lot on like ads and things like that, but if you could
Yeah.
have it like an extra surge of cash that you're like, we just got to put this into marketing, what kind of areas do you think you would invest in?
Uh, we would want to be more forward facing to our future clients, and whether that be through different associations, golf tournaments, nonprofit organizations, serving on different boards, that sort of thing. Not just
Hmm.
myself, I've done a bit of that for sure. But that to me is still the best spot that you can spend your advertising dollars on. And then along with that is having the brand, the recognizable name, the
Hmm.
recognizable look. So when they drive by our job sites or see our sign, or one of our trucks goes by, those people may or may not even realize it, but that's the little checks along the way that will give you really good exposure. So
Hmm. And you got a great logo that's nice and clear, and it's strong. It has a nice bold font to it that is like suggesting strength and stability, I think. And look at you. You're you're representing with your merch you're wearing there. You got the shirt
yeah,
on, you got the
I
logo.
had to. Yeah, most
um,
definitely.
what kind of design trends are clients requesting more lately, do you think? Are they also like the efficiency things or other things as well?
Well, they're being forced into efficiency things in one way because the building codes have changed, and also operating costs is really making sense of that. So a few years ago when we had COVID and work from home, and now we don't need all the space, then you get into shared workspaces at the office. That was a trend for a while, which is now kind of almost gone the other way.
Hmm.
And also with different religions and needs. I mean, individual washrooms and prayer rooms and different things like that are really are speaking of today's needs in our society. And I mean, we have a very multicultural population that
Yeah.
that we need to attend to. So, and it's working its way through. So,
Oh, that's very interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. That's neat to think about that you're changing structures of buildings to accommodate different cultures and different you know, ways that our culture is changing,
yeah,
here. That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah.
How do you encourage like creative thinking amongst your employees? And is
We,
it a good thing or a bad thing?
yeah,
Like I thought about it after I wrote that question. I was like,
yeah,
do you want people being creative or is that going to be a liability?
yeah. So, definitely once before the project is sold, we want to create that culture of creative thinking along the way. You may know Zach in our
Yeah.
office for sure, and
Hmm.
we talk and we debate about how we can make things better. And I take a drawing and I just chicken scratch all over it and make them think about it, right, and
Hmm.
have them come back with the answers. So once it's under construction, then the days the days to complete the project is really where we can save money. So the less number of days we're on a site, the more revenue that we can generate in a shorter period of time. So
Hmm.
that's where I leave it to the guys in the field to figure out how to get to the end zone as
Hmm.
quickly as possible. So
Yeah. And to be more innovative with how they
yeah,
get that done professionally and
yeah,
quickly. And I get that. I
yeah,
suppose a lot of it
I,
comes down to preparation, like pre-planning and stuff like that, that making
yep,
sure you have a solid plan, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. As our prime minister says, hope is not a plan, right? Or a strategy, or whatever he says. But it's very true. You've got to have a game plan, and
Hmm.
plans change. They will likely change by 8 o'clock in the morning, but at least when you have a plan, then you know what you've changed for the day. So that's super, super
Absolutely.
relevant in today's society. So
Tell me a little bit about your branding. And what I want to know is like, how did you come about getting like your um, your logo and your colors? Did you have a professional person do that? And how long ago did you do it? And how have you found that benefits you? Do you have brand guidelines that you have to abide by? Or tell me a little bit about that.
yeah. So originally, as you know, my partner Sandro and we debated a bit whether we should have our names in the name of the company. Number
Hmm.
one is, with Paul being in the company, well, everybody can ask, where's Paul if Paul's not around? And we want this company to grow and continue on well beyond our days. And so that's number one. But we decided to put our name in it because, again, it's a very personal service that we provide, and we want people to know who they're dealing with. So uh, quite frankly, I had a marketing guy that was one of my tenants in one of my rental places,
Oh yeah,
and he came up with the initial logo, which has been changed since this one came out.
yeah.
And it was a corner of a building. It had some strength to it, and it kind of told the tale of we build buildings, and
Hmm.
that was very important. And the seven letters in our name, Paulsan, was very very contrived. It wasn't a long drawn out uh, name that would be hard to spell in an email address, all those kind of things, and that was number two. We since about 4 years ago we decided to update our website,
Hmm.
and the guy we ended up conferring with, he said, "Well, have you thought about updating your brand?" And I said, well, no, we don't need to do that, right? It's fine the way it is. He ended up taking us down the road of strength and purpose and all those kind of things. It was quite a long presentation, but really it all made sense. So that's how we updated the brand. Hopefully we'll update our website soon, but we haven't really actually done it yet, but it's close. So
What separates a well-designed project from one that isn't?
well,
Or
if
just an
you've ever
average
built,
one?
yeah, if you've ever built something, it's easy to build lots of space and make the building bigger. Then the client can do whatever he wants with it. But when you're paying $200 a square meter for development charges, and you're paying taxes on each square foot, and the cost of building is tripled since we started our business even. Those are all big costs that the client has to pay for at the end of the day. And, wasted space is not an option anymore in construction. So when you build something, you need to build it as big as you can afford, because after you've built it initially, any additions or modifications just cost more. So build it as big as you can afford, and yet be as efficient as possible with the space that you have to work with, because all those added fees and taxes and planning, space constraints, the lot size, all those kind of things just cost so much money. And that's where an average project, it's easy to build something big if you got the room. But you want to be as efficient as possible with your build. So, and then part two of that is the type of building. You want it to look good. You want it to kind of be in today's contemporary design, and you also want it to fit the neighborhood. That's probably one of the biggest misses I see on lots of people, where they have this vision of something that really doesn't fit the neighborhood, and that to me is a lost opportunity at that time. So
Absolutely. Are there any particular projects that you think back on and you're like, oh, that was a really good design that we did, or that was, I'm very proud of that build that we did?
Yeah. Honestly, we have many,
Yeah.
and it's over the years. I still remember our first $100,000 project, and that was at Brantwood Community Services, and it was for a special needs client that needed a design space for his use. And I mean, that's 14, 15 years ago almost. It was a long time ago, but it gave us a sense of purpose, that somebody that needed a space specifically for his use was being able to be developed. And those kind of projects I'm still very proud of, even though, and I remember that like it was yesterday, honestly. And then you get into Extend Communications downtown Brantford. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was an old boarded up building almost, and we took an old building and made it look new again. And
How many years
I
ago
still
was that?
that was 2012, so that's 14 years
Man.
ago. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I
and
drive by that place all the time.
yeah, and and that really worked at the time. And then when we get into a lot of renovation projects at different universities, lecture theaters that were traditional, a traditional class, and then they become digital labs, and they become lecture theaters with all the AV equipment. And I mean, our teaching environments have changed a lot over the years, and universities continue to do that. So, and then more recently, we've been building a couple buildings out in Burford, which those were clients had the need. We provided them the vision and costing, and built the building. So. Which those are just wrapping up now, but that's kind of the fun part of it.
Yeah. What is your favorite part? Is it seeing the end result, or is it the excitement of getting started on one?
For me, it's nailing the client comes in for a need or want. We listen, we develop the drawings, the plans, the specifications, and we get the permits and make sure everything fits. and then we go to construction. And actually, that's the part I get most excited about, because it's an honor for us to have earned that client's respect and trust to build their building. And then the rest is execution, which there's challenges along the way, whichever way you go, and then getting to the home run. And ribbon cutting day is always an exciting thing when they move in and get operating. So
you must have one of those gold shovels for like breaking ground or whatever at the beginning. I bet you do.
Yeah,
I bet you do.
Spray painted. Yes. Yes.
But I'm not expecting it to be real gold.
Okay.
Just fancy. Something fancy though, like.
That's right. Yeah.
When they have ribbon cuttings, like, who was it that I saw a picture? Adam was on a shoot the other day and he sent me a picture. Someone had come up. I think it was like a political person had come to a ribbon, ceremony. So they had all these like different size, and I mean like huge, like scissors that are comically large. And I thought that's so awesome.
So,
anyways,
whatever the need is, right? So.
I know. Anyways, that is all my questions I have for you. I think you've been so informative for me, and I love hearing about the creative side of your business with construction. Yeah. If anyone's listening out there and they want to like see your work, can you tell them your website or any social media links?
Yeah, so our website is www.paulsan.com, and that's the best way to start us looking at it. And then from there, social media. Yeah, I mean, I suppose we have it. I guess I'm just not very good at that. So, but if you start at the website, you'll soon see the new website, and that'll be a great spot to start. So
that's fantastic. Great. Thank you so much for talking to me, Paul. I really appreciate it. All the best with Paulsan and all the construction projects you got going on. Can't wait to see some of your final things that you got coming out. Yeah. So, yeah.
Super. Well, thanks very much for your time and the opportunity, and have a great summer.
Yeah, you too. All right.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye now.
That's it for this episode of Creative Wonder with Tay. Thanks for giving it a listen. This podcast is produced by Tay Photography. Yes, that's me, still behind the camera and the mic. You can find me online at tay.ca or on Instagram at tay_creatives. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Keep the creative wonder alive.